Hello students, welcome to Crack Grade B online learning platform. Today we have with us Mr. B. Chandrakantha Reddy who has cracked RBI Grade B 2021 exam. So many congratulations Mr. Reddy, and
Thank you, sir.
today he will share his journey. How did he prepare for this exam? And let me introduce first about Mr. Reddy. He has done his BTech from Vellore Institute of Technology in Electronics and Communication. After that, he has prepared for UPSC exam and waiting for UPSC result. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So it was his second attempt in RBI Grade B. First attempt he has given in 2019. He was not able to, means seriously it was his first attempt, but last time he appeared for experience purpose, or means he applied only and did not prepare. So at that time he was not able to qualify for phase 2. So it was his first serious attempt, and he has cracked RBI Grade B 2021 exam, and he has scored very well marks. So I will share the marks of Mr. Reddy of phase 1 and phase 2. So phase 1 plus में final score. Yeah, this one is the phase 1 score. He has scored 42.75 marks in general awareness out of 80, reasoning 14 marks, English language 17.75 marks, quantitative aptitude 10.75, total 85.25 marks, and in phase 2 he has scored in ESI 71 marks, in finance and management 70 marks, sorry, in English 70 marks, and in finance and management 74 marks, total 215 marks in phase 2, and in interview he has scored 61 out of 70, so total 276. That is a very good score, and he may be among toppers of the RBI Grade B 2021. So we will know his journey. How did he prepare for this exam? So Mr. Reddy, now you have to share your journey. How did you prepare from phase 1 to phase 2 and interview? So let's start.
Yes, sir. Sir, for phase 1, I applied in for RBI Grade B after January 28th. After my UPSC Civil Service main examination, I applied.
Yeah.
For phase 1, I know that I had a reasonable knowledge on quant, reasoning, and English. So I focused on general awareness part, sir, for 1 or 2 weeks. For general awareness, I referred ADA 247 magazine and some other institute marathon sessions. That's all, sir. So because of my UPSC preparation also, it helped me to score good marks in general awareness section.
How many months specifically for GA part? How many months you covered? How many months current affair?
So specifically, it is 3 to 4 months before the exam. That will be sufficient.
Okay. So you can say that these quant reasoning, you may have some different experience as compared to UPSC.
Yes, sir.
So how did you manage that quant and reasoning, as this time also some questions level were little bit of difficult side. So how did you manage
yes,
that?
Sir, I was an engineer by profession. That might have an advantage for me.
Yes.
So for the quant section, generally I was reasonably good from since my childhood onwards, sir. For reasoning part, I devised a strategy like I want to solve first non-puzzle based questions. So my first focus was to solve questions on blood relations, coding and decoding, inequalities. So after this, I will go to seating arrangement questions, sir. So this might have helped me to solve maximum questions uh, and attempt more. So this is for reasoning and English. I was reasonably good. So this was that.
So did you subscribe any mock test for phase 1 or?
No, sir, I didn't subscribe. Actually, I don't have time, so I started preparation from 15th onwards. So 15 days is the time I had. Mostly I focused on GA sections.
Okay, okay. You means after UPSC means you started the preparation for RBI grade.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, okay. So moving to the phase 2 part. First, I will want to know that how did you come to know about crack grade B? As there are number of competitors and number of platforms. So how did you come to know about us?
Sir, the result for phase 1 came on March 13th of this year, sir. So after March 13th, I searched in Google that about the RBI Grade B exam, who offers the very crisp material to cover within 10 days time. So
Yes.
I found through various like uh, in Quora and various sites that Crack Grade B has very crisp material. So I subscribed to it.
Okay. Okay. So now you can say that how did you prepare for ESI? What were your sources specifically for descriptive and current affairs, and then for finance and management, and then for English?
Sir, specifically for ESI, I have good knowledge in the static part of economy, sir, because of my UPSC preparation. So I didn't prepare any static part for economy. And for current affairs thing, I completely relied on crack grade B things, sir. Mostly the schemes document, the report and indices document, and the economic growth forecast. So the exact questions came in the final paper also, sir. Like OECD growth forecast had came in the final paper.
Yes.
So for years, I think I completely relied on the crack grade B. So for those who want to prepare the static material, I will refer the Vivek Singh economy book. It will be good for to cover economy statics.
Yeah, for basic concept, that is a very good book. Means in layman language, he has explained. That is very good.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir. Yes, sir. And then for finance and management, for finance part, there also I know most of the topics like public-private partnership, inflation, and then basic regulatory bodies like RBI, NABARD, SEBI. These things I already know. So remaining things I prepared from the crack grade B material.
Okay.
And then the current affairs of finance also I completely relied on the crack grade B materials.
Okay.
For management thing, I prepared from the YouTube videos. I generally just type the topic name in the YouTube. I used to get some videos. I used to watch those videos and prepare some notes. That's all.
Okay.
For for the English preparation, actually I didn't done anything, sir. Mostly I framed certain strategy like I need to write very small sentences, and then I need to avoid the grammatical mistakes and spelling mistakes, and stick to the word limit. These are my fundamentals in English.
Okay. So there are number of questions being asked by the students who are preparing or going to appear in the future exams. So first
Yes,
one for ESI specifically, how many months current affair they should read, or how many month current affairs you studied for the ESI part, economics and social issue?
sir, it was 5 to 6 months current affairs.
Yeah.
Sir, but mostly rather than current affairs, one should focus on the schemes, indexes and reports, and then economic growth forecast. Sir. Mostly these three constitutes about 80 to 90% of the questions.
Yes.
So rest 10% questions we can leave, sir. It's not a matter. So if we focus on these three, I think we can score good marks.
Okay. So one more question being asked for the ESI, that one should follow PIB on daily basis.
Sir, honestly, I didn't follow, sir.
In newspaper specifically you followed for RBI grade B exam?
Specifically for RBI Grade B, I didn't follow. So generally, I used to read Times of India for UPSC. So I continued with that.
Okay. And for scheme part also one questions mainly being every time it is repeated by the students that ministry website, one should refer ministry website for government schemes, because schemes are being asked in depth, little bit depth and with factual
Yes,
data.
yes.
So one should refer from the original source like ministry website or PIB. So should, did you follow any ministry website for schemes part or PIB?
No, sir. I completely relied on Grade B schemes document, Ministry wise like Women and Child Development, Ministry of Agriculture.
Okay.
So those schemes only I revise, sir, because the schemes they will ask very numerical content, sir, like how much money the government distributed for this scheme. Like in the exam, they asked about how much is the money distributed to the farmers in PM Kisan
Yes.
in this December installment of 2020,
Yes.
like
Yes.
this.
So one more question for ESI, that word limit were there this time, and you have to type the question answer, means answer you have to type. So 600 word limit were there for 15 marker, and 400 was there for 10 marker. So how was you, were you unable, were you able to manage that typing?
Sir, I written around 1600 words for ESA and finance and management. So
Okay.
around 500 words per 15 marker and 300 to 350 words per 10 marker.
So before the exam, you did any practice or?
No, sir. Just on the paper, I made a thing like how to attempt the descriptive questions. General, like what the introduction and conclusion are like introduce what is given in the question, and conclusion is the future forecast. So in the body, just I linked that thing like if they asked about poverty, then I used to link with how poverty is linked to monetary policy, how poverty is linked to fiscal policy, whether it will have any impact on the trade policy, then whether it had impact on the unemployment, growth, these things, like whatever the terms are there in the syllabus, I used to link with that term, and then I used to write the answer. Sometimes in some of the points I will put some examples regarding that. That was my strategy for the descriptive, sir. So in exam, I didn't have the like I did not want to think much on the content. So just I need to link the term to the syllabus topic and just write the answer.
Okay. So one more question that students usually ask from the toppers of RBI exam specifically, that now the descriptive part first time was introduced. So most of us, our followers want to know that uh, how should they write in descriptive exam? What will be your advice, that one should answer in point wise format or some paragraph based format? So how did you write, and some advice to the future aspirants?
So I personally prefer point-wise format because in the 15 marker questions I used to write 15 points for 15 marker. So 15 different contents I had put in the answer. If I write in paragraph format, I could have hardly written five different dimensions. So I personally prefer point-wise format, and if people are comfortable with point-wise, I will advise them to follow point-wise format.
Okay. So this was for ESI and FM both.
Yes, sir.
And English descriptive.
So English descriptive mostly, as I said, I relied on certain fundamentals like write in small sentences and avoid grammatical and spelling mistakes, and then stick to the word limit. And then the other thing is for the reading comprehension, most of the students will write whatever there in the passage itself.
Yes.
I did some manipulations, sir. So rather than just copy pasting, I written all my answers in my own words for
Yeah,
the
that
reading comprehension.
actually that's they want. That's why they have introduced the comprehension. They want to do they want to know your view. What is your view? Actually, they don't
Yes,
want that copy paste. Yeah, some actually previously they used to write what is your view in this, but nowadays they are mentioning the direct question only. They are not
yes,
mentioning
sir.
they are not specific that what is your view. They want to know that how one student himself or herself is writing his view or just doing copy paste. So that's the main
Yes,
uh, scoring part also. If you are writing your view in this comprehension descriptive part, then you will get a good score.
yes.
So
And then for essay, I prefer like generally they ask about advantages and disadvantages of something. So, for example, it is PPP, advantages and disadvantages of PPP. For this type of essay, I used to write what is PPP in the introduction and any example. Then I will introduce next para with the advantages of PPP. Then I will do with the disadvantages of PPP. Then in the last paragraph, I will conclude with how to overcome these disadvantages and how can we make PPP a fruitful model. Like this, I used to follow for the essay. And essay word limit can be plus or minus 10% of what they had given.
okay,
For precise, I think we need to give title and exactly stick to the word limit. That's all.
okay. So you cross the word limit or in essay or
In essay, they had given 300 words for, in the actual exam. I written approximately 326 words.
okay. So I would like to tell all the viewers that he has scored very good marks in. We have already shared the phase 2 score. He has scored in ESI part 71 marks. That is very good score. And in English also he has scored 70 marks. In FM 74. So in phase 2 he has done means excellent score. So one more question is being asked by the aspirants that RBI website, the circulars, many questions are being asked in the exam directly from the RBI website.
Yes,
So did
yes.
you follow RBI circular or RBI website regularly? And for finance static part also, some students ask that they should refer RBI FAQs or not. So did you follow the RBI website while you are preparation during your preparation?
Sir, for phase 2 part, I didn't prepare anything from the RBI website. Actually, the crack grade B, the current affairs material have the gist of RBI website, like whatever is important. So I think that will be sufficient for the phase 2, sir. For interview part, I prepared certain things from the RBI website.
Okay. And for English part, your UPSC preparation or you were already means preparing for UPSC exam. So that helped, or did you do any specific for the English descriptive part?
No, sir, I didn't have anything for English descriptive.
Okay.
That except that fundamentals.
So, Mr. Reddy, that was for this phase 2 part. So, after the phase 2, that one more important part is the interview. And interview this time's marks were increased 50 to 75. So, how did you manage an interview? What were the questions which was specifically asked as you were having UPSC background? So, and there was gap year.
Yes,
So
sir.
how did you manage that gap year? Because some students are in fear that they have 4 years gap years, so maybe they may reject in the interview, and also some UPSC students are generally ask that the interview panel can reject them as they are preparing UPSC. They should disclose the information or not. So they usually ask they should tell or not about their UPSC preparation. Yes.
Sir, I think initial the first question in the interview was what are you doing since 2017? So I honestly told that I was preparing for UPSC and given 3 attempts and appeared in 2 interviews. So they didn't counted me on that person. And I feel that if we don't mention about UPSC preparation, somewhere in the interview they can find that you are hiding your preparation,
Yeah.
because in your answers some like adequate depth will be there when compared to normal aspirants. When you are referring to economy or when you are referring to any political or social aspects, the different type of answering will be there. So they will, if they find out you are hiding, then it is like they will award very less marks in the interview. So I feel that it is good to tell about my UPSC preparation. So I go ahead and told about my UPSC preparation.
Okay.
And the other questions the board members are asked is, how do you prepare for RBI interview? This is the most general question. Like for every candidate, they might ask this question. So I told that I prepared from RBI website, and general banking awareness I prepared, and economical aspects I prepared. So in that things which you had mentioned, they will pick some topics and they will ask the questions. So for me, they picked about banking awareness topic and asked about monetary policy, these things.
Okay. Okay. So this was your RBI preparation journey.
Yes, sir.
So what will be the your message to or advice to the aspirants who are preparing for this exam?
So if I want to give advice, I will tell that prepare from very crisp materials and don't rely on bulky things which you can't revise at the time of examination.
Yes.
So if you are prepared from very crisp material, you can revise more and you can reproduce more in the examination. And for descriptive exam also, whatever I devise the strategy like linking the answer to the different terms in the syllabus topics, I think it worked well for me. So this can help for the future aspirants.
Yes. So, Mr. Reddy, thank you for this wonderful session. Thank you joining with us, and I wish you good luck for your future journey. So, thank you so much.
Thank, thank you, sir.